Shemar Stewart is here. He's practicing. He's working into 11 on 11 drills. Let's break it down.
You are Locked On Bengals, your daily Cincinnati Bengals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What up, Bengals fans, and welcome to another episode of the Locked On Bengals podcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Jake Liscow. He's James Rapien. We are at Paycor Stadium after Sunday's practice. Shemar Stewart making his debut. Certainly the story of the day. Welcome back to all the everydayers out there. If you're not already an everyday listener to the Locked On Bengals podcast, just hit the subscribe button on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts, and that'll make it really easy for you to catch every episode here, as we'll keep you up to date throughout training camp, throughout the season, throughout the off season, every day here. And if you're already making Locked On Bengals your first listen, well, we appreciate that good listening habit. James, today we dive into Shemar Stewart's first practice. Signs his contract on Saturday. Agrees to the contract on Friday. I was stuck in Denver for a real long time.
I was waiting to see how long it would be for Jake to mention his travel issues.
The intro, of course.
I didn't even get to talk before he talked about his intro his travel issue. He's here. Just to be clear, he's here. He's physically here in Cincinnati, so it worked out.
For those of you not watching on YouTube, we are in the same room. I can look at James, or have to look at James, depending on your perspective.
Most beautiful thing he's ever seen.
The perspective that we're going to share today is Shemar Stewart participating in practice and really doing just about everything. Like, probably not a full workload for him in team drills and 11 on 11 work, but working in with the ones in team drills. Zach Taylor said after practice he got about 10 reps or so. So that's a good amount of work for Shemar Stewart to get in this practice, in his inaugural practice, and his first rep in team drills. He got triple teamed. So that's a fun welcome to the NFL moment. Also met with reporters, including James Rapien, at his locker after practice. But the first step for Shemar Stewart, getting acclimated, getting caught up, and doing the things that he's going to need to do to get ready for that first preseason game.
And Shemar mentioned it. He had to get on the field, and he knew it. And I think that's why the deal got done when the deal got done, is because he was going to get almost left behind. Like, if you miss most of camp, like these old holdouts, like people have mentioned Andre Smith, or you go back to the Achilles Smith days, it's really, really hard to play makeup and play catch up and get there. And they're early enough. And Zach Taylor discussed this after practice. They're early enough. Full pads aren't even on yet. That happens on Monday. Oh, look at you. You're messing with the days, and now it's messing with me. On Monday, they're going to have their first full padded practice. And so Shemar's going to be there for that. He was there for the really hot session on Sunday, and that's huge. So, like we said the other day when we did the emergency quick 10 minutes, it's huge to have him on the field, to get him on the field, get him acclimated. I didn't really have expectations for him today. I wanted to see him in team drills, but like the first play you mentioned where there were three guys on him, it's a screen to his side. It's just kind of the play design. They were working on screens early on. It's not like they were like, all right, well, let's send the house at Shemar after the past few months.
Let's send a message.
Yeah.
Let's just get that guy right out of the gate.
Social media ran with that narrative, and that's not it. They were running screens before that, and it went to Shemar's side. He had 2 team reps in that first session, and then after that, got more as the practice went on. So we did see him in multiple spots too, both sides. He kicked inside as well on the goal line. So that versatility we talked about after the draft that he could bring, it looks like the Bengals, at least for now, want to see what 97 is going to do in multiple spots.
And that one was particularly interesting, the goal line rep where he's playing 3-tech. I actually have a video of that when I tweeted that one. That's a one-on-one essentially for him and Dylan Fairchild. So a couple of Bengals rookies going at it there on that particular play. And what's interesting about it is, you can't see it in the clip that I have, but I think someone else has it, is Joseph Osai drops out on the other side, and Demetrius Knight is essentially the edge on the other side, outside of Shemar Stewart, who's on 3-tech on the right side, Joseph Osai dropping out on the left side. So Demetrius Knight comes on a blitz there. It's one of those simulated pressures where you're dropping out an end on one side, linebacker comes on the other side. And It ends up being a quick pass, so not really much to see in terms of the trench battle there. The ball comes out almost immediately, going to a fade ball to Mike Gesicki that goes incomplete. But a cool play there for Shemar Stewart, getting some work at 3-tech that ends up with a one-on-one against the guard.
Yeah. And by the way, that play, I tweeted it out, really good back and forth from Jordan Battle and Mike Gesicki. The trash talk of camp so far that I've heard, and part of it was because they were really close to us. It was a little fade route. But yeah, the expectations for Shemar are, one, you got to get him out on the field, and then two, get these full padded practice reps, get him comfortable, and get him not thinking.
Yeah.
I think early in the practice, that his second rep is an example of this. You and me look at each other, and you're like, yeah, he's thinking.
Yeah,
and you could see that, which is understandable because it's his second team rep ever. The problem is it's July 27th. And so my hope, especially during the Jake Liscow 6 practice window here, where he's here for the next week, is we can see some obvious improvement from Shemar Stewart over the next few days, where we're going to see him tomorrow in pads for the first time. And then they get a day off, and then they're back on Tuesday and Wednesday, and or on Wednesday and Thursday, because Tuesday's the day off. He really did rub off on me with the days.
It's weird. It's Sunday, but it feels like Monday.
It does. It is confusing, but you want to see that improvement and that progress. And if he's doing that, we know he's talented. And I think there's more on the attitude side of things that we should clear up. But let's continue on the football side. I'm sure you have a little bit before we.
Yeah, my last thought on the football side is let's see that raw talent pop. If we can see that show up a little bit and get some exposure to that athleticism and see how that can actually translate to the field. Like, let's see some flashes, right? Yeah. And obviously we're going to be looking a lot more for that. Assuming he plays in the preseason game, I don't know why he wouldn't. We'll see how obviously things go between now and then, but just a little bit more than a week, right? Maybe 2 weeks.
11 days.
We shouldn't talk about days. We shouldn't be talking about days. Obviously the theme of the show here early on, but before then, be nice to see some of those flashes in camp too, especially with pads coming on. A play where he can pin his ears back. There's one play where he comes off the edge unblocked today, and you can see the athleticism. You can see the get off. You can see the burst, but it's a run going away from him. So he's just backside pursuit. He's unblocked for a reason on that play, right? So fun to see the athleticism there, but to see that get off, to see him turn the corner on a passing play, on like a true pass set kind of play where it's like a one-on-one with Amarius Mims or a one-on-one with Orlando Brown, because he was working on both sides. That's what I'm excited to see from a football perspective. But from an attitude perspective, James, you talked to him after practice. What were your takeaways at the locker?
Well, I think that there's a lot of the, he's a bust already, and he has an attitude, and he's all about himself and all of those things. And I disagree with that, but I'm going to dive into it a bit more. We will do that coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy. Locked on Bengals. Well, we're playing on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too, whether you're a first-timer or a veteran making your millionth league. I'm going to kick Jake Liscow's tail in fantasy football this year. It's no problem, whether it's PPR, whether it's a 2-quarterback league, whether it's super flex. It does do whatever you want, any kind of style, any kind of league. It doesn't matter, half-point PPR. They have them all with Yahoo Fantasy. And to celebrate 28 years of fantasy greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big features over 28 days, giving you more ways to play, more ways to draft, and more ways to win beginning on August 4th. Stay tuned and get started by creating or joining Yahoo Fantasy Football and the Yahoo Fantasy Football League at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. That's yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL to get started today and make this fantasy season the best one yet. All right, Jake, let's dive into the personal side of things. I think Shemar Stewart is a good kid. Like a good, and I say kid because I'm more than a decade older than him. Like, I think he's a good human who isn't going to throw his agent under the bus, understood that he needed to get on the field, understands the importance of this time. Also probably believes that he didn't necessarily want that. He didn't want that language for a reason because it set that precedent. Like, I get that. Like, I still think he probably feels that way. But the main thing for me, it was him saying, oh yeah, I forgot about it the moment that we came to terms. All this back and forth, all this drama, all this discussion, forgot about it. It's done. And I start there because I think it's important for our listeners and viewers to feel that way too, just to see what Shemar is as a player. All this other stuff is all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's annoying and it's been dramatic and it's filled a lot of time for us this offseason. And for the past few months, we honestly didn't want to talk about it, but we had to talk about it at times. Let's put it all behind us and see how 97 is on the field. I think that's his mindset. I think that's Zach Taylor's mindset. He talked after practice as well. So I think that's the only real way they can go about it.
Yeah, and Zach said not to make too much of where he was lining up during practice or which unit he was playing with because it was the ones and the twos, but I think it's still notable that he's getting out there with the ones. Like, if he's a first-round pick, he's their 17th pick, they're expecting big things from him, right? Mm-hmm. So getting him out there with the ones is a bit of a vote of confidence. I know Trey's not here and everything, but they could have just said, you're going to work with the twos today. Mm-hmm. You're going to get the rookie treatment. But he didn't. He did get some time in going against the better tackles on the team. The backup tackles today, Jalen Rivers, I thought had a few nice reps when I was watching him, but the backup tackles are not Orlando Brown and Amari Smith. A lot stiffer competition.
Drop off
with those two guys that are at the top of the Bengals depth chart. So getting those reps, getting the work against Dylan Fairchild, even getting that one-on-one with his fellow rookie, that's valuable work. And I think his mindset is certainly in the right place. He knows he has a lot of hard work to do. And the interesting things to me at his locker were, him talking about wanting to get onto the field quickly.
Yep.
Also did defend his agent, which is interesting. I don't know how much we want to dive down that path, but said he wanted what did he describe as?
He wants a pit bull as his agent. He doesn't want someone that's gonna just keel over to whatever. And I do get that mindset.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
and it just, there comes a point where the strategy was the wrong strategy. I actually don't mind them being annoyed about the language and trying to set the precedent on Shemar. Like, I don't mind them being annoyed by that.
You're allowed to negotiate whatever you want. But as soon as you go public with it and try to win this PR war, that's when you get the result that we had. Mm-hmm. And that's where in the past we've said, Shemar, I think at first talked about it as like, Shemar, yeah, you can fight for this. It's not wrong for Shemar Stewart to think that this language, he shouldn't be the first one to do it, all these things. And then we, as time goes on, find out more and more about how it's relatively standard language across the NFL. But the point I'm trying to make here is that if you're negotiating, and I'm sure this happened with Amarius Mims and Miles Murphy in the last 2 years, and you're just talking directly with the party you're negotiating with and not the pro football talks of the world, that's very, very different from what we saw from this approach. So regardless, nice to put that behind us. Mm-hmm. Nice to focus on the football part of things, and nice to see Shemar Stewart out there in 11-on-11s in his first practice and be able to make the joke that he waited for me to see him in person before he started practicing with the Bengals.
He did. He certainly did. And what I wonder is if your flight in Denver would have just gotten canceled and you would have missed practice. Would he have practiced it? He probably waits until tomorrow because Jake wasn't there. So that's certainly something that
priorities.
For sure. You got to prioritize the right things. The other thing, before we get into some other practice notes and stuff, he was asked about the heat and he was like, oh my God. It was a really, really hot practice for Jake, getting him acclimated as well. And obviously Shemar's first practice. And then the other thing, because this was something we completely shot down and tore it apart, like the idea that they would do this, but he made a face as he was being asked if he really seriously considered going back to college. And it sounds like that was all BS, even though there were like real rumblings. We talked about it some, about the possibility of him wanting to do that and how dumb it would be is basically the Cliff Notes version. It sounds like his camp felt that way too, which is good.
Yeah.
That means there is some hope there, because if they were telling him to do that over that language, well, then that would have been insane. But at least as of now, Shemar denies that, which is good. And working out at your college, that's pretty normal. And I do think he looks like he's in really good shape.
Mm-hmm.
I think he looks ready to go. No one's ready for that heat and ready for team reps and all those things that he went through today. And so that he got better today. But overall, though, thumbs up, I would say, from Shemar Stewart being in shape and ready to go.
I was impressed with the guys in general practicing in the humidity that is Cincinnati and the sun. I mean, I really thought this 10 a.m. thing would make a bigger difference. But again, just to reference my travel, I got in at 3 a.m. this morning. And when I walked out of the airport at 3 a.m., which should be like the coldest time of day, roughly, you're a couple hours away from the coldest time. It was disgusting outside.
Yeah.
And it was certainly hot out there. But pretty good day for the guys as far as hydration. Didn't see anything in the way of cramping. As far as injury updates, we can talk about Lucas Patrick.
Real quick, I talked to Miles. Speaking of that, he was like, "Got through it today."
Yeah.
So that is good. It's noteworthy. I wasn't even thinking about that, but all the guys made it through. There wasn't any cramping, and it was a pretty intense practice. I mean, it was good. I mean, they had some red zone stuff, and they were doing a lot of team periods. It wasn't like it was one team period and then they break up into small groups and then that's it. But they got some good work in. All right, let's get to the injuries with Lucas Patrick. Go ahead.
Yeah, Lucas Patrick with a sleeve on that leg. He was limping pretty good when I saw him.
Yeah.
Looks like a lower right leg injury, probably muscle. There's no brace or anything that I saw when he was walking around out there. So we'll see what the deal is for him. Zach Taylor described him as day-to-day, which is not week-to-week, which is the designation for Marco Wilson. As a lot of corners down the depth chart were getting work with the twos. And even, we saw DJ Ivey and Jalen Davis mixing in with the ones quite a bit. As Cam Taylor-Britt also didn't practice, also considered day-to-day. I don't think there's anything super significant with Cam Taylor-Britt. He was out there. He was watching. He was in his jersey and everything. Lucas Patrick was not. So we'll see how that shakes out. Matt Lee also still making his way back, considered in that day-to-day bucket, which is really testing their interior depth. The second team offensive line right now. Cordell Volson's at right guard today. Rame at center. Jalen Rivers is working left tackle. Is he also working right tackle today? I think he was working.
I can see that. Yeah.
I think he was working only left tackle, but now I'm doubting myself, and he might have also been at right tackle. I only remember left tackle now that I think of it. But regardless, the depth right now, it just brings us back to that same question we were talking about yesterday or our last show 2 days ago. Can't remember days. We're going to just make it a thing for the entire show at this point, where their interior depth could really use a guy. And
yeah,
we'll see how that goes over the next few days.
For sure. I was surprised Zach described Lucas Patrick as day-to-day.
Yeah.
Feels week to week to me.
Yep.
Maybe I'm wrong. Just on the surface. Because if it is a calf, we know calves linger. If you're an everydayer, calf injuries linger. And it could be a really minor calf injury, but you still feel it. And it
was clearly favoring it too.
No doubt. No doubt about it. And so we don't know for sure it's a calf. He didn't say that, but it feels like it is. It looks like it is. And so I think it's safe to assume that it is, put it that way. If it's not, great. Cam, I think that this is more of a rest day than anything, but the Lucas Patrick one, even if Matt Lee comes back in the next few days, I think it would be important to look that route. Also, did you mention Marco Wilson? You did, right?
I did mention Marco Wilson, consider week to week.
I do wonder there if they just feel comfortable and they're fine, or because they're managing Dax as well.
Mm-hmm. He did get into 11s today.
He did. So he did his first team drills today of 11 on 11 period. Looks good, but they're managing his reps. And if they're managing Cam as well, just something to pay attention to. DJ Ivey certainly got more reps with the first unit with those with Cam nicked up a bit. So we'll see there, but we really need to dive into all of our practice observations, and we will do that coming up next. Today's show is brought to you by Gametime. Gametime is the app you need to, get tickets to all of your favorite live events. Gametime is going to make life so much easier, whether it's the Cincinnati Reds, who knows, maybe they lost on Sunday, but they won another series over the Tampa Bay Rays after winning the first 2 games of that series. Whether it's your favorite concerts, all of your favorite live events, Bengals preseason right around the corner, Game Time is going to make life so much easier for you. And if you're tired of the scrolling to find the best deal, well, Game Time has zone deals, so you can pick the best seats in the section for you. The panoramic views are going to give you an idea of exactly what your view is going to look like from your seat, and you can take all the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. I did. I went to the Eastern Conference Finals, my first NBA playoff game, thanks to Game Time. You can too, to all of your favorite live events. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL, Locked On NFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
All right. Some practice notes. Offense starts on fire. As we were watching the offense early, we talked at one point. You verified with about 17 different people.
I asked everyone, hey, you seen an incomplete? Hey, has Joe thrown an incompletion? I literally yelled it all. Have you seen him throw an incompletion? Because I didn't want to tweet it without it. No incompletions.
Early. Eventually, we did see at least a throwaway.
He threw one away.
Maybe that was it. Maybe there were a couple No, there was an incomplete pass in the red zone too. Yeah. Drew Sample.
And Mike Gesicki.
2, yeah. Too high for Gesicki on a fade, and Sample, which is really like a check down, pass breakup for DJ Turner.
What are you saying about Drew Sample?
Well, it's just late in the play. Late in the snap.
Elite weapon.
Point is, early in practice, whether it was the run game, whether it was 7-on-7, whether it was 11-on-11, the first 11-on-11 period, Joe Burrow was getting pretty much whatever he wanted. And like I said, so was the run game. Chase Brown had at least one run that looked like it would have been an explosive play, whether it was Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Yosevach, go down the Isaiah Williams had a nice diving catch from Joe Burrow at one point. Joe was getting pretty much whatever he wanted passing the ball. The running game looked good to me early on, and it was one of those days where it looked like, and I think this has kind of been a theme, the offense was going to go away with it. And then they take a little special teams break. They break off and do some individual work, come back for a second 11-on-11 period. They go 11-on-11. They go 7-on-7. Offense win those. Second 11-on-11, different story. The run game gets bottled up a little bit more. Joe Burrow doesn't have as many places to go with the ball on demand. Not everybody is open at all moments. Still certainly some wins for the offense in that period, but from there and then definitely in the red zone, did Joe score? They maybe have one touchdown with the first team. And I mean, this is low red zone, like 3-4 yard line kind of stuff.
Maybe
one.
Yeah. And that with the first team, Jake found Samaje Perine for one, but that probably was a sack. It's close.
Very late in the snap.
So yeah, this has been a theme, and you've heard me say it a few times. The offense, really the past since day one, so Thursday, Friday, and now today, the offense comes out and they're really dominant, and then the defense responds, and you look up and I still probably give the edge to the offense, but it's not like big time.
The red zone period was compellingly in the defense's favor, and that like kind of swings it today in particular, but
yeah, I think it's close. Today's probably the closest it's been. And I'd still probably give the edge of the offense. I'm thinking of that Joe to Andre Yosevach play and 11s right before the red zone period. Really nice play there. And so they made plays even after things kind of started to stumble a little bit and they got out of rhythm. But this defense, they're fired up and they're playing like that. With an attitude. They're talking a lot. I mean, Dejon Anthony, Jordan Battle. And I think that's good. I think
and Dejon's out there for blood. Like he wants to hit. That guy's ready for pads to come on.
And so that's what's going to be fun now is even if you give a slight edge to the offense or slight edge to the defense today, it doesn't matter. It was really close. And so now how does it look when pads come on? How does it look when things are that much more physical? Because the past few practices have been chippy. This was honestly the least chippy practice, I think, since day one. There's been a few times on Thursday and Friday last week where it was like, man, get your phone ready. Is this going to be a a thing. And it hasn't gotten to that point, but certainly worth noting. Like Jermaine Burton and Tyson Anderson have gotten into it a little back and forth. Burton definitely talking more. Tyson's more quiet, but Tyson stopped Jermaine on a third and short, and then he had just held up his fist for fourth down. And so it's been a good battle. It's been interesting. One side has Joe Burrow, one doesn't. So the offense with Joe and Shemar and T, they should have their fair share of success, but it hasn't been the defense just rolling over, even if they get off to our poor start early in practice.
So that's the overall bit. What are your thoughts then, if we think about it from just a player standout perspective today? Who stood out to you today?
Well, Joe, naturally. I mean, it felt like he was in a rhythm early and was just super accurate all over the field. I thought that
he's having an awesome camp.
Well,
I mean, you would expect him to. He
Yeah.
is Joe Burrow after all, but I think he's had a pretty dang good set of practices.
It feels like it's been his most consistent camp.
Yeah.
And there are times we're doing this, and watch, we'll go 10 for 50 tomorrow. But like, it's like good day, shaky day, good day, shaky day. It hasn't been that really since the first day. So now it's 3 straight practices. He hasn't thrown an interception, even on that first day. Hasn't thrown an interception. He hasn't really thrown many balls that could be intercepted.
No.
And I think that's noteworthy.
Yeah.
Like, if any, like there aren't many pass breakups. Like it's just either my guy can get it or he can't. And if my guy can't get it, then that's that. And I think that just shows you how locked in, how dialed in he is. And even with that, the defense has gotten stops, which is pretty noteworthy, I think, for the defense as well. So Joe Burrow is certainly the guy that stands out the most. Not that other guys haven't, but that's where it is. It's hard with the trench guys to say one way or another without pads.
Yeah, it is hard. I will say TJ Slayton playing with
big dude,
a considerable amount of power. He's moving, compressing the pocket. Let's say that. Is that an issue of him being a large, powerful man and the Bengals interior offensive line maybe struggling a little bit with power? Or is that TJ Slayton showing that he's going to be able to push dudes? We'll find out when we see him play against another team, probably a little bit, but his power did stand out to me a little bit on Sunday. I also think we're continuing to see it was a lot more shotgun today, I think, from my vantage point, from what I saw in practice, but a big Chase Brown run came on a pistol play. So we're continuing to see them working the pistol into the offense in a pretty consistent way. I feel like Cam Grandy has made a couple plays a couple of times, and Cam Grandy, I did notice a couple of times today. Shout out to the second team guys as well. PJ Jules and Tyson Anderson combining for an interception on a play that's probably dead for a sack earlier, but it was still a really nice tip drill interception, perfectly played in the air by PJ Jules to tip it to Tyson Anderson for a pick there. And I think it was the next player, maybe 2 plays later, Oren Burks punches the ball out. Barrett Carter falls on it. So for the second team defense there, a couple of guys with some notable plays on the defensive side of the ball. So shout out to a couple second team guys and guys working with the second team. In the case of those linebackers, is they're really rotating the linebackers quite a bit. But those were some standouts to me. In addition to just like the skill guys on offense, I think all had a play. Like, again, we talked about the receivers in our last episode. I'm pretty sure every receiver.
Shemar, T, Andre.
Jermaine had one. At least one.
Gesicki.
And
Isaiah Williams. Yeah.
So maybe not Charlie.
I don't think Charlie was targeted either during team. Maybe he was, but I don't recall that. And Isaiah Williams, it was a great diving. I tweeted it out. A great diving catch. It wasn't gone for much.
I think it was a first down though.
But it was a heck of a catch. It was the third down. 3rd and 3.
Well, they were moving it, so it was like it started 3rd and 3, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. So that was like a 3rd and medium, and that would have been a first down catch that he laid out for near the sideline. So it was a pretty good play.
Yeah,
that's a winning play for Isaiah Williams, who right now part of the roster, right?
I would say so. I thought he was probably making it. Like, you just look at the back end of that wide receiver room. He can do a lot of things. He can return for you. He can help you as a slot receiver, be that pure slot type of receiver. As long as he gets the offense down and remains productive, I think he's very much in that mix. That doesn't mean Charlie's not. I think Charlie's they're starting returner right now, but we'll see. Also, you know what I was just thinking? Noah Fant.
Yes.
He completed his visit with the Saints. We don't know about it. Get the hell out of New Orleans and come to Cincinnati. Come on.
We're going to go to lunch in a few minutes. So if you want to join us,
that might happen.
I can pay for your $10 lunch. That's what I got.
Oh, Noah for Noah's.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just telling everyone.
Not everyone.
By the way, we're still working on it, but we're hoping to have a meetup while Jake is in town. So just keep your calendar open for late in the week. We'll tell you more soon.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Bit of news to me. We're still working on.
He didn't like that. I just pulled it. Maybe it doesn't happen, but I want you to be on. I want you to be on alert so we can make sure to happen. If it does, it'll be downtown.
Last thing I want to shout out here, football wise, for those of you listening at the very tail end of the show, excited to see these linebackers in preseason games. I feel like vibes wise, pretty impressed with what I'm seeing from Demetrius Knight. Need to see it in a live football game to confirm, but I was fairly impressed with Demetrius Knight from an instincts perspective and from a reaction perspective, those sorts of things, the way he played on Sunday during his practice. So we'll wrap up there. We'll be back for another practice on Monday. We'll have more post-practice takeaways for you here to talk about on Locked On Bengals. Until then, thanks for listening to the episode of the Locked On Bengals podcast. Hoo day, and have a good one.